And welcome back to the baseline. And we're here for our weekly recap. And we are 3 weeks away until the postseason starts. Wow. I know I say that every week so far, but it hits you once when you really think about it. But I got some concerns that I like to share my thoughts with you guys and get things rolling. And two of them are two of the World Series teams last year. I know I talk about them a lot, but now that we're down to our 3 weeks, I think it's now the time to actually talk about it and get it off a lot more and get it off my chest. And I want to start with the defending World Series champions, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm worried about them. Look, I know it's a team that you're supposed to build and it's supposed to be around the postseason and postseason only. But when you look at it and look at what happened this week. They got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates. In Baltimore, they got walked off twice. And Saturday's game, you should have won that game. I don't know what happened, but Yamamoto had 1 out away from a no hitter. He was coming on. He was dealing. Jackson Holiday hits a home run. You're up. What were they up? They were up, I believe. 3-1, and then you get walked off and lose the game 4-3. What? That blew my mind of how terrible this bullpen is. And Terrence Scott blew save number 15 this year. He's not the pitcher he was. I understand it's 1 year. Maybe he's having a down year. It happens. It's baseball. But you can't be doing this bad 3 weeks away from the postseason. Here's a stat for you. Since July 4th, the Dodgers are 23-32. That's the 5th worst record in all of baseball since then. They're scoring 4.1 runs per game. They're batting .235 and have a 4 ERA during that span as a team. Now, of course, I'm a fan and I watch the games and the reports just like you guys. And I'm looking at these guys and they're like, oh, it's I'm not worried at all because this team's is only built for the postseason and nothing's wrong. But nobody can figure out what the starting rotation will be because they're in a wild card spot. They're going to be in a wild card spot. They're not catching the Phillies. Definitely not catching Milwaukee for the bye. Like, Philly will have to go on a very down streak and they'll have to win 5 games to get that bye. I think they're 4 games behind, 5 games behind the Philadelphia Phillies. But, yeah, you could say all you want, but you don't know what the rotation will be. And then there's all these things of well, who do you use in the bullpen? And they used Walker Buehler last year. They used Kenta Maeda years ago when he was on the team. Could they do Ohtani? Could they do this? Could they do that? I mean, if you gotta figure that out, and you're worried about that now, you're not making it that far. Every other contender's got that thing set. I believe the Phillies even have a rotation set, and they don't have Walker Buehler right now. The Yankees have it set, and they're going against Boston, but I can name the top three. There are three pitchers for that series. Even the Mets, you could even go on and say, okay, here are the three guys. Sure, you might not like it, but that's what you have. Same thing with the Milwaukee Brewers. The Dodgers can't figure that out, and they also don't know what to do with Ohtani. He's going to be a starting pitcher. Then 1 minute you hear, oh no, he'll be a closer. Then he's back to a starting pitcher. He's back to a closer. I don't think the Dodgers are gonna get far in the playoffs. If we're already talking about these problems now, I mean the hitting. I have to give the hitting where it's due. Betts, Freeman, Shohei, those are obviously the top three guys. I'll even actually give Cole, that guy Cole. He's done very well since he come over in that Washington trade. But it's just the Dodgers. I don't know. They are just having that bullpen is just not right for me. I don't trust Scott. I don't trust Kirby Yates. Blake Tryon, he even had a bad start, and he was actually doing really, really well. I don't know with this Dodgers team. It's, I don't know. This Dodgers team just does not look good, and there's a lot of question marks for this team, mainly the bullpen, which is gonna hurt them. So we'll have to see what it do, but I think if the season ended now, they face the Mets. I think they'll get past that. But can they get past Philadelphia? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they will. The Yankees. I know you're probably thinking, why are we concerned about the New York Yankees? They've been playing well. They've actually done what I said they needed to do, which is they need to take 2 out of 3 in Houston. They did that. They need to take 2 out of 3 against the Toronto Blue Jays. And they did that. Here's my concern. They put Judge in the outfield against the Blue Jays. He looks like he's barely throwing the ball, which is fine because he almost threw a guy out. I believe yesterday he almost threw a guy out. Fine. But then after the game, you have Aaron Boone say, oh, we're going to protect him. We're going to make sure the cutoff man is actually out there so he doesn't have to throw that much. Doesn't that sound too concerning? Because let's say that, he doesn't get this arm resolved or still bothers him. Yeah, I understand you could put Stanton in the outfield and have him, being the right fielder, but I don't know. Like I'm looking at this. If we have to have the cutoff man carry Judge's throws, how do we know if his arm's gonna be good? There's sometimes you just gotta throw him to the base. And as of right now, how it looks like they're gonna play the Red Sox. The Red Sox are a very young team. They got a lot of speedsters there. They're gonna try to go for third. They're gonna test his arm. And again, is that what the Yankees want? I don't think so, because they need Aaron Judge. You can't lose Aaron Judge, especially this close to the playoffs. If we were back in April, May, hell, even June, yeah, okay, maybe you could afford to lose him. But not right now. Not when you're 2 games out of first place. Not when you're this close to being in the pennant race into a postseason. I don't know, that scares me a lot. Of, hey, let's, we're gonna make sure he's okay. We're gonna have the cutoff man come on and make sure he doesn't have to throw that far. Like, that concerned me a lot. I mean, the bullpen, other than that, the Yankees do look good. I will see what they do with Detroit. I mean, Detroit's up and down. Yeah, but they do play the Red Sox also this weekend. So I'm at Fenway too. So we'll see how they handle it. But yeah, I'm worried about Judge now with that arm. If you're saying that publicly, we'll make sure he doesn't have to throw that hard and this and that. That scares me. That really does. And I think that will be the downfall, is that, yes, the AL is not that good. It reminds me of next year. Whoever represents the AL in the World Series, I think you're going to lose in the World Series, because the NL's better. There are better teams in the NL than there are in the AL. I think it would just be, if it's not the Yankees, even the Red Sox, Houston, Seattle, Toronto, I think any of those teams I just named, I think will fly in. And once you go to the World Series, get beaten by the NL Ball Club. And the NL is better than the AL. These last 2 years, they have been. But, even if a team, sneaks in, there's a bunch of teams that are close. Cleveland, Tampa, Texas, all like 2 games away from the final wild card. Those teams even had speedsters. Bobby Witt, Jonathan India on Kansas City. For Cleveland, you got Ramirez, you got Quan, you got Noel. Texas, I mean, they're not really fast, but they do a great aggressive base running. And that's my problem with the Yankees. If they're not having Judge throw this long or this far and taking precautions now, I think it's gonna hurt him, because then he's gonna get used to it. That's what his arm's gonna do. I am not throwing from the wall to second base, and I think that's what's hurting. I think that's what's going to hurt the Yankees. Back to the NL. Kyle Tucker is supposed to miss his 4th game with a calf injury. I don't like that. A calf injury. It's sneaky. It can either be really, really good or it can hurt you in the long run. I think it's going to hurt the Cubs as well. Just because now also Pete Crow Armstrong is hurt. This team's really now looking well at all. They're up and down, back and forth. Again, I think they're just there because they're one of the better teams, and most of the NL is just, rebuilding or retooling, whatever you want to call it. But I think this is gonna hurt the Cubs. There's no timetable yet on him. If he could get back in time for the playoffs, I think it'll be great because he has been playing very well the last 19 games or so. I think he's batting over 400, 8 extra base hits. So he's doing well. He's back to the old Kyle Tucker we saw earlier this year. But yeah, no, you can't have him. That calf injury is gonna be really, really tricky. And especially back in the lineup. And for the Phillies, Al, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Alec Bohm and Trey Turner go to the IL. Another blow for the Phillies because Trey Turner is the NL leader in hits. He's second behind Bo Bichette, I believe it's 171 hits. Yeah, this one sucks. I have faith in Armando Sosa. I think he could do very well for them while Trey Turner's out. I think the report is they're expecting him to be back in time for the playoffs. As of right now, because they have that bye. Maybe even a little bit before. So that's good. But he does need to come back. He needs to be in a leadoff spot. He's doing very well, and they're gonna miss those at bats from him. The taking his walks, hitting, stretching a single into a double. They're gonna miss that because that's how you can provide runs, and that's where their strength is. Along with, I'll say the starting pitching: Suarez, Sanchez, Lazario. Those guys are phenomenal, and have carried the team since Wheeler's been injured. But yeah, they need to hope that he is back soon, and he could help the Phillies. In the playoffs, and hopefully he's back to his old ways and helps his team out. So that's the big news that has come out this week. Also, my concerns with the Yankees and Dodgers. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about. Are you concerned of anybody? Are you not? And also, if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And other than that, I'm going to sign off, and I will see you all in the next one.